We're now going to enter 7.3, which is the third way of bullying, which is social bullying. Social bullying refers to isolating a child, whether it's in the classroom, on the playground, refusing to pick him on the team, he's always picked last, if at all. Isolating a boy or a girl in a bunk, in camp, or from the club, on the block, on our street, or the club in recess. No, you can't join us. Anything like that is a form of bullying and is worse than regular bullying, because now I'm excluded from the team, I'm excluded from the club, I'm excluded from the bunk, I'm excluded from the game. And everyone else is part of the bunk, the game, and then it becomes more than one person against me, and that's much, much more humiliating, especially for girls. This social exclusion is more painful for girls because they have such a strong need to be accepted and respected in the group, admired. It's not a negative. It should always be that way. And Chazal do tell us, "Oy chavrusa, oy masusa." It's a Gemara in Tainis, I think, around about Chaf Aleph, where it tells us that if a person doesn't have peers, people to share their lives with, it's almost better literally not to be around, not to be alive. Oy chavrusa, oy masusa. Masusa is a reference to death itself. So it really does go very deep. But for girls it's much, much worse. And just to know that means to be more sensitive. Former friends might stop having eye contact. And that's a form of isolation. Or whispering as soon as that particular girl, the victim, the target, walks past, and the girls start whispering with each other just as she passes by, or laughing or pointing fingers. These are all ways of horrible social isolation that can cause tremendous anguish and can lead to a child doing some serious, we don't even want to go there, but hurting themselves, turning to addictions. This is part of the typical research when it comes to understanding the short and long-term ramifications of bullying. It leads to children, Has v'Shalom, turning to other things to give them an artificial high in order to escape from the pain of what they're going through. The target might hear giggling or whispering. We covered that. In 2003, the National Girl Scouts Institute surveyed 2,279 Girl Scouts ages 8 through 17 to learn about their fears and anxieties. And the number one fear was not terrorism, was not war, was not school shootings. It was being teased and made fun of, being bullied. So that is a few points on social bullying for a teacher to watch out for in the classroom and also in recess. These are really important things. The social bullying is magnified because you're talking about more than one child isolating a kid. 7.4, cyber bullying. This is really horrific because children and kids, teenagers especially, are threatened by anonymous emails and instant text messages. They are compromised with an excerpt from a diary which they shared in confidence with a friend who, even if that friend was reliable and trustworthy, their brother or sister or a friend, a different friend, has access and then sends it to themselves and then shares it with the whole group or the whole school or the whole class. Then the child is mortified that this private information in her or his diary, or a photo of them in a situation which they didn't really want public, no matter what it really is, when that goes public, the mortification and the humiliation, the embarrassment. Chazal tell us, when a person is embarrassed, halvanas panim is the name of the Aveira, the whitening of the facial expressions. What does that mean? It means the blood that's usually at the surface of the skin drains out of the face and the face goes white. That's called halvanas panim. The blood drains back, but Chazal equate being malbim pnei chaveir berabim, as not worthy or deserving of malchus, of lashes, that's way too kind. Or the death penalty, that's extremely generous. No, it's much worse than that. It deserves ein lo chelek le'olam haba. He loses his portion in the world to come. Why? Because embarrassing another person in public is akin to murder. That's what Chazal tell us. And the humiliation is something that can, Chas v'shalom, have a snowball effect of, oh yeah, you remember when? And then they're talking about it. And with today's social media, the ability for technology to spread information in real time, literally in seconds, and have it on the internet, on websites, on Instagram, and on Twitter and Facebook, and who knows what else. By the time you're watching this DVD or video, these words might be, I don't know, in ancient dictionaries already. The pace of technology is just going so fast. So the ability for technology to open to the general public immediate humiliation means that cyberbullying is a whole new reality, and it's less than a decade old. And yet there are suicides that have been directly related to. There's a whole drama series called 13 Reasons Why. I'm not suggesting you watch it, but I'm explaining how culturally the conversation is about how cyberbullying is able to control the lives of teenagers and make them feel crushed, ruined, never be able to look at people in the face again. And they could have done nothing wrong whatsoever. It could be pure lies, words or pictures or statements, excerpts from a diary taken completely out of context. But that doesn't change the way it looks on the outside to their friends and peers. And you know how much teenagers put chashivas, value, to what their friends think about. It's their whole world. So there's something to be seriously sensitive to and aware of, that children who are getting involved in this can be humiliated on a grand scale. One of the worst spin-offs of cyberbullying is that the bully himself or herself is able to remain anonymous if they want to, and also because they don't necessarily get to see the victim target's emotions being crushed and the humiliation. They know it's happening, but they don't see it, the tears, they don't see the sleepless nights. The chances of them having empathy and a conscience about their spreading innocently the humiliation of that picture, of that excerpt from the diary, etc., means that the bully doesn't have to have a conscience or feelings for the pain of others. And that makes this, the magnitude compounded, the lethalness, and the chances of this child losing self-esteem, self-confidence, falling into addictions, looking for all sorts of escapes to get away from what they see as their reality of pain and humiliation. The real answer to this is the same answer as we're going to see again and again, and that is thought. It's really helping a child recognize that social media, what I think and what I'm seeing and what I'm telling myself, is really thought in my mind. All my reality is completely created in the thoughts that are going through my mind. So if I realize that humiliation is extremely painful, but it's also a thought, for me to continue the humiliation, I have to think about it. I have to allow that thought to continue. Because if you ask the question, how long is the life of a thought? The answer is, as long as you think it. That's how long the life is. So the moment I realize, and I'm saying the moment because it's really literally instant. I'm not talking about intellectual acknowledgement over here. I'm talking about an experience of thought in the moment creating my reality. The experience of chapping, recognizing, oh my gosh, that feeling is actually what I'm thinking. Oh, so if I'm feeling my thinking and I don't like the feeling of feeling down or depressed or not beautiful or unintelligent, or socially inept, or financially irresponsible, or I have no friends, no one loves me. Whatever it is that I'm telling myself that now I'm feeling, the moment we experience that inseparable connection, that feeling is 100% thought, 100% of the time. That moment that I experience that connection is unlearnable. You can't unlearn it. You realize, oh my gosh, it's true. That's reality. Reality is not Olam Hazeh acting upon me. Reality is me and my thoughts. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's in me, in my thoughts. That's all that exists. And that's very powerful. It creates immunity, that I don't have to be affected by the world unless I choose to be affected and let people press my buttons. And I also am liberated. I'm immune to the bullying, but I'm also liberated from being a slave to what I'm thinking. Whether it's me bullying me, or whether it's me reviewing you bullying me, or the other evidence for why I'm undeserving of recognition or appreciation or admiration. And I start putting myself down, I put myself down, I put myself down. It's all thought. That moment of recognition, not intellectually, but experiencing that connection. Oh my gosh, it's a real aha moment. That is the moment the child can have true, deep immunity. True, deep resilience. That's the Chelek Elokam Mimal, surfacing. The innate health that you and I have been created. There are no damaged children. No matter how traumatic their experiences of the past, they can only relive the trauma if they think it. So instead of reviewing it and reanalyzing it again and again and again and again, hours and hours a week, for years, to get out the system. No, that's how to keep it in the system, how to keep conscious, how to pay attention and be aware of the pain I've been through and revisit, relive, review the pain again and again and again. No, the solution is way more simple and elegant. Hashem didn't make us unable to help ourselves. A leaf has innate health. It knows how to take light from the sun 93 million miles away and carbon dioxide in the air and go through a process called photosynthesis, where it will draw up the moisture and rain from the topsoil and turn the sunlight and the carbon dioxide and the moisture from the soil into oxygen and breathe out H2O. And the leaves, the trees, the plants know how to do that innately. The human body is innately healthy. It's self-healing all the time. It's constantly selecting unhealthy food from the healthy food, the nutritious from the non-nutritious, expelling what the body can't make use of, and utilizing what it can through the walls of the stomach into your veins, your bloodstream, your capillaries, to your cells, where they get re-energized, and all your food containing your oxygen in the bloodstream with the carbon, with your amino acids and your proteins. All the good nutrition that's in the food and in the oxygen is now pumped through your heart, your lungs, into your cells and renewed as energy. And if, God forbid, you get a cut or some other injury, your body knows what to do, how to pump blood to the surface, to congeal and then crust and then create this defense on the outside while the body does the healing of a new layer of skin on the inside. It even knows how to do that without scarring in many cases. Your body's brilliant. Do you think HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of all the elements in creation which He created to have this innate ability to sustain themselves and even self-heal and self-correct, do you think for a moment Hashem would have done that for every part of the Bria, but not your mind? Your mind has the ability to self-correct, teshuva. Your mind has the ability to self-heal by not paying attention to all the stuff I've been through. And you could take almost any personality in Jewish history for sure, even non-Jewish history, and you'll see that many of the greatest, most towering tzaddikim, tzidkanias, righteous individuals, didn't get there because they had the most amazing circumstances. Supportive husbands, wonderful family, amazing mother-in-law, and financial success and support, security. You will find they all lived inside out, not outside in. Sarah Imenu, kidnapped once, Paroi, twice by Avimelech, and then barren, 90 years, every month, saw dumb. Not this month, not this month, not this month. She's married at the age of 15, some say 18, so now 10 years later, she's 25, 10, 35, 10 more years, 45, 10 more, 55. Every month goes by, another year, another decade, another decade, another decade. And she's 90 years old, barren, no children. That's a long time to suffer. And wait, and wait, and wait. Takes on a co-wife. She goes through almost all of the nisyonos that Avram Avinu went through. The Ra'av, she went through the same famine. Sorry, Menu, you had a really hard life. How would you sum up your life? And the Torah tells us, Perek Chaf Gimel, I think it's Pasuk Aleph, tells us, Vayu Chaye Sarah, and the life of Sarah was Mea Shana, Ve'esim Shana, Ve'sheva Shanim, Shnei Chaye Sarah. 120 and 7 years, these were the years of the life of Sarah. Whoa, Rashi, immediately quoting Medrash, tells us, the grammar makes no sense. You introduced telling us that Viyu Chaye Sarah, this is the life of Sarah, then you told us 100 years, 20 years, 7 years, you just have to say 127, you have to say 100 years and 20 years and 7 years, and then you end off saying Shnei Chaye Sarah, these are the years of the life of Sarah. You just said at the beginning of the pasuk that you're introducing the life of Sarah. Why do you repeat yourself? And Rashi tells us, says the Medrash, to tell you Kulan Shavin L'Taiva, doesn't make any difference which part of a life that you take a clip of. Kulan, all of them, Shavin, are equally L'Taiva, good. Good? You gotta be joking. Good? Barren, 90 years, kidnapped twice, goes through the famine and most of the trials of Avram Avinu. She saw her husband go to war against 5 kings. You gotta be... She went through the same nisyonos. Kima, all of them. Not all, but almost. And now you're telling me that she would say all her life was equally good? Sarah, how can you say that? Sarah, how can you say that? And Sarah Main would say back something like this, oh, you're looking at my life outside in. That's fake news. You got to read it from inside out. You've got to read my mind. You've got to see where my thoughts were. When I was barren, so I davened more. Yeah, I was pained, but I just got on with life. Oh, you kidnapped? Yeah, I got over it. But twice, yeah, and I got over it. How'd you get over it? I mean, with a therapist around there? I mean, Dr. Freud wasn't around yet. The Freudian slip. Dr. Freud hadn't fathered psychology yet. So how'd you recover without going through years and years of heavy-duty therapy? And her answer is, well, Hashem made us with self-correcting bodies and self-correcting minds. What does that mean? It means you can heal. How? By moving forward and not paying attention to all the negative, all the bad, all the adversity, all the pain. Really, so you can live inside out and mean it. David HaMelech, you can live inside out and mean it. Yosef Tzaddik, you could be thrown into a pit after plan A was assassination, plan B, throw him in a pit, plan C, let's sell him and make some money, and you can spend 10 plus 2, 12 years in jail because you refused to be with Selusha, the wife of Potiphar. You did the right thing and you end up in jail for 12 years, and you can come out, and when your brothers turn up, ooh, sweet revenge. You tell them, Lo atem shalachti moisihena. You didn't send me here, Elokim. It wasn't you, it was the power of all powers, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ve'ata, now altit atzvu, don't be depressed, don't get anxious. Don't get angry when you're going home to tell our Father that I'm still alive. Don't you understand? Atem chashavtem alei ra, you were thinking negative against me, plotting against me. V'HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but Hashem HaElokim, the power of all powers, he was thinking l'toiva. Yosef Tzaddik lived inside out. David HaMelech went through Gehenna on earth, but he was living inside out. Inside out means, who controls my thoughts? My wife, my husband, the kids in my classroom, my boss, the menahel, my co-workers, the neighbor? You gotta be joking. If everyone else controls me, my life is like this all the time. Up, down, up, down, up, down, in, out of different moods. And some of the mood swings are really serious. And comes along a HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to know, don't be a bully to myself. Don't let others bully me. How do I stop that? Because feeling bullied is a thought. Like resentment is a thought. Like anger is a thought. And you can't have two thoughts at the same time. It's impossible. So, how far am I away from recovery, from whatever I'm going through? And the answer is, one thought away. Only one thought away. Really? That's interesting. Yeah, because that's how Hashem made us. We're wired that way. Ani Hashem, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I can tell you to love your neighbor as yourself in the same pasuk that I just told you, not to take revenge and not to bear a grudge. Love others like you love yourself. You have to love yourself too. Ani Hashem, because I made you live in thought, and you're only ever one thought away from another new, completely different thought, if you want. So bullying is something we want to teach our kids, that inner resilience, that they can become aware that feelings are born from thought. It's never the other way around, ever. It appears that way. It appears like it's Olam HaEmes when it's really Olam HaSheker. It appears like it's really Olam Hazeh, but it's really Olam Hafuch. It's upside down. It's completely inside out. The real world is inside out. The world that we're looking at looks like it's outside in. It affects me. Circumstances, people, acting on me, cause, effect. And yet the only thing that really exists, the only reality, is the reality that I create inside of myself. I cannot experience anything outside of thought. If you're thinking pain in your leg, you're thinking about the pain in your leg. And the proof that it's not the pain that's paining you is that you could be in the middle of a soccer game, a football game, a hockey game, you get kicked in the shin, and 20 minutes later the referee blows the whistle and you walk off the pitch limping, but 20 minutes ago you weren't when you first got kicked. Why aren't you limping for the last 20 minutes? You've been running around like everyone else. And the answer says, oh, my mind was not paying attention to the pain in my leg, and now my mind is, and so it's the thought that's causing me the pain, not the pain. So Rabbi Akiva could genuinely recite Shema Yisrael while the Romans are removing the top layer of his skin with red hot pokers. And his Talmidim would say, Rebbe Ad Khan, and he says, don't you get it? All my life I've been practicing for dying. Every morning, every night. I say, B'chol nafshecha. Rebbeinu Shloim, even afil notel nafshecha. When you take my soul, I want to say ve'ahavta. I really love you. And now that moment has come. V'lo kamina. I'm not going to fulfill that. I've been practicing this. His mind was not outside in, it was inside out. And that's reality. So this is the type of, how we're going to do this for our kids though. How do you get a kid to really get this? So number 8 of this, we've covered the cyberbullying. Now we're going to look at number 8, the Torah recipe for how do you handle bullying? Well, we've touched on a number of different makaras, but now we're going to get much more into what we've talked about in terms of building resilience in children. We're living in an upside down world, inside out, outside in, Olam HaSheker, Olam HaDimyan. It's an illusionary world, and part of that means that the society we're surrounded by tends to put the emphasis on process or results. We know the answer. It's more focused on results. How much I weigh, how much weight did I lose, how much money in my bank account, not how did I make it, the size of my home, not so much how did I afford it and how am I paying for it. That's maintenance. No, we're not focused on that. We're focused on results. There's another aspect of this, and that is when we look at a problem in society at large, especially the Western model of education and government and values, whether it's how it's manifest in finances or in medicine or in education, almost doesn't matter. It's the same formula every time. Of the two parts, what counts the most? Is it finding a cause for the problem, or fixing the problem, not from the cause, but with a band-aid on the symptom that's surfacing because of the problem? I'll say it in clearer words. What are we focused on? Getting to the crux of why something has happened and fix it from the cause so it doesn't happen again? Or are we fixated on putting band-aids and fixing the symptoms that keep surfacing? Example, a person is doing very poorly financially. So is the solution to consolidate the debt into one debt and refinance, start the debt all over again? Or is that dealing with a symptom, I'm in debt, instead of the cause? How do I spend less than I earn? What a concept. I'll repeat that. How do I spend less than I earn so that I can start using the extra money at the end of the month, if there ever would be, to pay down the debt, instead of refinancing at maybe even a lower rate, but I'm starting my debt cycle all over again? So that's not fixing the problem at the cause. The leaks of how the money is coming out my pockets are still there. And now that I'm refinancing, I might have more money to spend. And go to places like Amazing Spendings. Well, that used to be the real name, but they changed it. So, you know, we're living in a society that's completely fixed, not on let's get to the cause, but let's fix, inverted commas, the problem at the symptom level. Oh, you've got a rash? Oh, so don't explore what am I eating? What am I consuming? What is it about my lifestyle that my body is complaining with this rash, or with this sniff, or with this cough, or diarrhea, or my eyes watering, or I'm coughing a lot, or sneezing a lot? No, don't go to the cause, fix the symptom. Put the cream on top of, take this medication. I'm not saying don't take medication. I'm explaining an observation of how society has moved our mindset towards fix symptom, leave cause alone. But when we leave the cause alone, we're not fixing the problem in an honest and real way. It's not dishonest, deceitfully. It's probably a very innocently that we're doing it that way. But the problem is the long-term accumulative effect of not fixing the cause means that the cause doesn't not only go away, it might come back with much more momentum. Whether it's health, whether it's finances, whether it's a relationship. So we're living in a society that's kind of against us paying attention to, let's get to the original cause. Because if we can fix it there, then the ripple effect of that is going to spill over in all areas. So let's figure this out. What's the way the Torah tells us to deal with bullying? Should we fix it at the symptom level or at the cause level? And of course, we all know the real answer. Fix it at the cause level. The symptom level, well, we can punish the bully. Symptom level, let's move school. Let's change to another parallel class where there's new, start fresh crop of friends. But that's only fixing artificially the problem on the surface. We're not getting to the cause where we're going to help give you the knowledge and experience of your own inner strength, resilience to stand up to, whether it's bullying in school or later on, whether it be bullying in school or in marriage, school or in the workplace or in your career. Let's fix the problem at the cause. The cause is never the symptom. That's only a manifestation of the problem, but not the cause. So what does the Torah have to say on this? Does it have anything to say? So we've looked at it already in some detail, but we're now really going to go full speed ahead. The Torah absolutely addresses bullying to such an extent that our sages implemented, as we said earlier, that it should be part of our daily request from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 7 words. V'lim kalai nafshi tidaim v'nafshi ke'afa lakol tiyeh. 7 words. 7-word request we're asking Hashem every single day. You can't make a request that Hashem can't give. It's impossible. So why do Chazal tell us to make this request? Because it's requestable. We are able to request it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu can come forth. He's Elokim, Ba'al HaKochos Kulam. There's nothing he cannot do. And we're asking Hashem, as we mentioned earlier, please give us not to be a shmata. We shouldn't be afa, dust that everyone treads on. Let us be so strong that after we are trodden on, we're still there. It's like HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, it's a Gemara in Yuma, the Samach Tes, where why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why do we call him Noira, awesome, in Shemona Esrei? Ata Gibor v'Hanoira. What's v'Hanoira? Hagibor v'Hanoira. What's the Hanoira? The Noira. What's the amazing awesomeness of Hashem? So says the Gemara, you know what the awesomeness of Hashem is? That the Jewish people are like sheep. 70 of us. 70 wolves surrounding one sheep, the Jewish people, and we're still here. The mashal offered is, look at the Raya, look at the shepherd, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's taking care of us. That's why Hashem's Noira. He's amazing. It's awesome that we've been through so much persecution, so much assimilation, so much hatred, and it's still there. Anti-Semitism is as fresh as ever. It's only potentially worse because of technology and weapons of mass destruction, and because of immediate communication. The whole anti-Semitism is very, very real, fresh and real, but we're still here. Everyone's had a go at us, we're still here. How is that possible? Because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is inside of us, and He's promised us, Perek Zayin, Pasuk Zayin, that you will be my nation forever, you're my people forever, I'm your Elokim forever. This is called a bris olam. That is a promise, a contract, la'olam, forever. That I will be Lecha, for you, Lelokim, a power of all powers. Yeah, you will exist forever. Promise to Avram Avinu, after Bris Bein Absarim, in Parshas Lech Lecha, Perek Yud Zayin, Pasuk Zayin. Oh, so comes along, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm inside you, so you're indestructible. Your neshama is indestructible. You can't throw a spear through a neshama. The neshama is not tangible, it's invisible, it's spiritual, it's intangible. You can't fire a bullet through the neshama. It won't harm the neshama. It's pure. There's nothing you can do to hurt the neshama. That is undamageable goods inside of you, forever, permanent. Even if and when the body is destroyed or buried in the ground or murdered, has v'shalom, Rahman al-Islam, the neshama, the thinking you, continues forever. And all the thoughts you ever accumulate in your lifetime gets accounted for. But that's great news, because how far away are we from one good thought? One teshuvah? And the answer is one thought away, one moment away, one hirhur, one thought away. So that resilience is your innate you. That's the real you, the Selem Elokim that's inside of you. And we're going to now go through 3 different mashalim to bring home for children as young as 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and for sure older. How do you help them experience, not intellectually, not like a lecture, experience, I will overcome the bully, because the bully has no power over me. Only me has power over me, always. And it's never any other way. And that resilience is not going to only spill over in being strong against bullying. It's going to be in all areas of when we get put down or hurt or pushed down. And our ability to rise up, start again, is just going to be quicker, sooner, with less damage. Because I'm not going to stay down for very long, because it ain't a nice place to stay. Because when my brain goes there and my feelings follow my thoughts, it doesn't feel good down here. It's dark, lonely. I want back up in the light, in Hashem's light, in this beautiful world. So let's look at how we're going to do that. We spoke about these 2 requests that we make, which is quite extraordinary, astonishing, that we're asking Hashem not to make us shmatas, but give us that inner strength, because it's in us. The Jewish people have got it. We've been through everything. An unimaginable persecution with Bavel and the Persian Empire and the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire and the Spanish Inquisition and the Cossacks and the Tsarist Russia and Communist Russia and fascist Nazi Germany and jihad. You're gonna survive that too, because Hashem's inside you. Period. It's not more complicated than that. Don't just wonder and be awed by how 70 wolves, nations, surround one lamb. There just ain't no chance. And the answer is, no, look at the shepherd. Don't pay attention to our survival. It's the shepherd who's keeping us alive. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu inside us that won't let the light out. It can't be, it's inextinguishable. Your soul is indestructible. Your nefesh, your neshama. And that's why we can say, V'lim kalai nafshi tidaim. Let my response to those who curse me be silence. David HaMelech did it. Avram Avinu did it. When he went through his nisyonis, Chazal tell us, how was he oimed b'chol asar nisyonis, nisnase Avram Avinu, v'amad b'kulam, he stood up to all of them. How did he do that? So check it out. You'll find it in Perek Hey, Mishnah Gimel, in Pirkei Avos. Look at Rashi, and he tells you, he was oimed b'kulam. You know why? Because shelo hirher, he didn't think. Achrei midosav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, miroiv avasai, from his abundant love for Hashem, he just didn't think. What is it he didn't think? Why are you doing this to me? You said I should go to a land that you're going to show me. I eventually come to Eretz Canaan and there's a famine. How am I supposed to survive? He didn't think. He didn't let those thoughts plague his mind. My wife is being kidnapped by Paro. What am I going to do now? What are you doing from me? I had to come to Mitzrayim because there's a famine in the land you told me to go to. He wasn't thinking that. He knew not to think that, because he knew the power of one thought at a time. He could only have one thought at a time. And therefore, the moment a thought might come into his mind, saying, remember, I don't get this. Almost 100 years I've been telling everybody Hashem is such a loving God, He doesn't require you to prove your love and loyalty to Him by sacrificing your own child. Now you ask me to sacrifice this is going to look really bad on you. It's going to look bad on me. I don't get it. This is my only son. I can't believe you're doing this to me. And how did He get through the Nisayan? He was Amad B'kulam. How? Shalahir. He didn't overburden his mind with thinking in the wrong direction, because he lived by thought to thought to thought. And he knew if any of those thoughts would start to come into his mind, it's not for me. Go to the next thought. No, that's not for me. No, that's not. No, that's not. Only after the Akedah, then he said, Reshlem. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu talked to him, explained, I never meant for you to actually sacrifice your son, but I wanted you to do this to prove to the world forever that you only did this out of pure love for me. And now nobody will ever be able to question why I love you, chose you to be the father of my people forever. Wow. How did he do that? Shilohir achraf. He didn't think afterwards. He didn't overload his mind with thought and thinking about why me? Why are you doing this to me? I can't believe that you would do this to me after all I've done for you. Yosef Atzadik was not thinking for 12 years in jail. That's a long time to think. He was not thinking, how do I get here? Oh yeah, my brothers, if I ever get my hands on them. Yosef Atzadik was not thinking that. And if those thoughts ever came into his mind, if they ever parachuted into his mind, he ignored them, went on to the next thought. Because that's the power of Bechira, that's the power of thought, that's the power of you, that's a Tzelem, that is who you really are. Okay, enough of the lecture, let's get into the practical. How do you experience this?